You actually are a God service provider. You have officially, that is your ego title. You have already mastered ego on earth. And in that capacity, you kind of left off with spiritual ambition as what you have dedicated yourself to in this lifetime.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to 2017. Happy New Year. Well, 2016 was extremely difficult, in my opinion, because it was a transition year. But 2017 will be the payoff and the honeymoon. From my smartphone to yours, keep streaming for your weekly Namaste Today. Welcome to Namaste Today, a joyful way to start every day. I'm your host, Sensei Christopher Witecki, psychic astrologer and friend to the world. Welcome to 2017 and Namaste. Well, I'd say 2016 was difficult because looking at most of the planets, the outer planets were forcing a big change. Well, my friend, we're in that change, and I think 2017 will be a bit of a honeymoon compared to 2016, and I believe 2017 is fated. The story you were born to live is in progress, and this week we make major strides in moving forward that story. I'll be talking about that and past lives in today's tea time. But first, let's take a look at today's mood and your weekly zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is for Monday, January 2nd to Friday, January 6th. Looking at the 5-day moodcast, just so you know, it looks like Tuesday will be the most difficult day, and then from Tuesday, our mood gets better and better. But going down the week, Monday is sunny and expanding. You'll be learning on the first day back from break. Tuesday, cloudy, chance of some real showers and disappointments. On Wednesday, it's cloudy and healing. You'll be opening up again. On Thursday, it's sunny and feisty, so you might plan something fun for that day. And on Friday, it'll be sunny and bright. But looking at this week, my friend, Mercury is retrograde, and by Saturday, we're going to be asked to make a major decision. So without further ado, let's take a sneak peek at this week. Well, taking a look at the week ahead, it's going to be a bit of a challenging week. In fact, I call this week Inside Out Control. Control because we're in Capricorn, we're trying to take control of our lives. We're in the teen degrees now. Once you hit the teens, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you're trying to control things and take control of your life. And in Capricorn, that's what it's all about, taking control of one's life. Only Mercury is retrograde all week long, which means that not only is technology failing, but we're getting information we didn't normally have. Things are coming out about ourselves we don't normally look at, and we're looking at life literally from the inside out. So looking ahead at this week, it does look like Tuesday is the big bummer day. We might be up for some disappointments. Now it's 13-degree breakdown, so that probably means that something we were looking forward to may not work out as we hoped, but that means the universe has another track for us, and I think by Friday you'll know what that track is. Just so you know, Saturday the sun crosses Pluto, and in my opinion, that is a major turning point in a person's life. It's when one era ends and one era begins. Now we go through this every year, but this year Pluto is at step 17, which adds to an 8. And if you don't know, Capricorn rules 8, so this will be a fundamental shift for everyone. I wouldn't be too surprised if you spent the entire week contemplating on your future and what it is that you want to do, all right? And if you are trying to find a major answer for your life, just so you know, it probably won't come in until Thursday or Friday. So be patient with yourself, be compassionate with yourself, and try to do some meditating. We have some powerful planets going on in Pisces right now, and this shows me that we are in alignment with our spiritual story. Your spiritual story is the reason you were born, what your soul really wants. And the thing is that our ego and our mind, which I lovingly call the smartass, often take us off our path or what we came down to do. So things may be adjusting this week that are karmically inclined or part of a past life story, which is what I'm going to talk about in tea time. And what does this mean to you? This means that you kind of have to observe instead of push. You have to kind of see what happens naturally and falls into place naturally and where you have resistance. In fact, when spirit takes over, it's the path of least resistance that normally is the right path. And so this week, as you're making a major decision and you may feel like you have limited choices or your options aren't what you want them to be, that might be part of the fate and part of what's going on right now. Now, here's what's ironic. We will be in Mercury retrograde all week long. You'll be processing a decision and coming to that choice by Saturday. But then Sunday, Mercury goes direct. So it's as if as soon as we made the decision from the inside out and backwards thinking, the universe moves ahead and says, okay, business will go forward. Now, even though we are in a first business week after the holiday, because of Mercury retrograde this week, I wouldn't expect your business to literally move forward. There's a lot of questioning. A lot of other people are questioning. There's a lot of information finding going on right now. So this isn't the week to try to push, but rather the week to observe and count on those important dates to start a week from now. Okay, the Monday following this, which I don't have the date handy, but Monday the 9th. Okay, looking at my notes. So that's pretty much the week. I would say coast through the week. Be open to things changing, particularly around Tuesday, and be prepared to make a deep decision on Saturday that will likely change your life forever. So let's talk about all this karma going on, shall we? Go steep yourself some tea, and let's have our weekly tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is past lives in the present. And this comes up because I believe fate is taking over right now. And I'll give you a few reasons why. For one, Mercury is retrograde and we're being asked to make major decisions about our life. It's been my experience, both as a psychic and an astrologer, that when we are forced to make decisions during a retrograde, particularly Mercury, Venus, or Mars, we're quite often opening up a past life, almost like downloading a program. And although we think we're making free will choices, we're making choices based on our deep truths, what our subconscious is telling us, and what we don't know is it's coming from a past life. Now, why does this matter? Well, when I first started on this journey about 20 years ago, I actually didn't care very much about past lives. To me, it was just like an interesting statistic about yourself or part of your story, but didn't matter most to what was going on. But actually, I began to see with my study of clients and seeing their past lives and looking at the planets that we are literally always past lives in motion. And it makes sense, actually, because I think what happens is we die and we go to heaven and we come back. And before we come down, we say to ourselves, I really don't like how I lost my kingdom as king that one time. And I don't really like that my wife died in that personal lifetime. And I'm not really happy about the way this happened in this other lifetime. And so what I believe we do is we craft a life that picks up from all these stories. Now, I have observed through astrology how past lives open. First of all, it's been my observation that you are living completely a fated life until you are about 30 years old, or what we call your Saturn return. So I believe that your entire childhood up to age 30 is all past life driven. In fact, it's actually just awakening you for the primary story. So you can let yourself off the hook, basically, for the mistakes you married. That was a Freudian, but actually that's true. I think any marriage that happens before 30 is a past life relationship that is continuing. And to this day, I tell my clients in readings who are madly in love in their 20s, I'm like, you got to wait till you're at least 30 to know if it's going to last forever, because it's a past life situation moving forward. But also, what my Freudian mouth meant to say was past life mistakes, where we make certain mistakes, or perhaps a lot of times, for instance, alcoholism and drug addiction. Like many souls who have addiction problems in their 20s, I think are reliving their lifetime from the past, where they were maybe an alcoholic or an addict the entire life. And many people will realize that they're an addict and become sober in their 20s. And that literally is them recreating and correcting that past life and bringing their whole soul up to where the story left off. The story left off where you had just gotten sober, but it was too late. Or you got to heaven after dying of alcohol and realized it was too late, right? So you come back and you realize it's not too late. So everything from age 0 to 30, we can't judge. I think we have to leave ourselves off the hook, because I really think we're catching ourselves up to speed. And I used to think, okay, that's it. Past lives is up till 30, then you're on your own. Nope. Now that I am 43, which I'm not ashamed to admit because I'm appreciating the wisdom, I realize that past lives continue to operate in our daily consciousness and come back often. For one, our past life soulmates. So I've had many past life wives. If you've lived on this planet, you've had many partners too. And I have to say, through my 30s, I had many of my past life wives come back, and they added to my character. They reminded me of who I am. They stuck up for parts of my personality where other people wouldn't stick up for them. So many of my past life and soulmates have been the champion of my strength and the champion of my success. I've also had to work out some issues with hurt feelings from past lives in my 30s, where we had to correct that, and I can see I couldn't have gone forward until I had. And also, from a learning perspective in love, I think that the past lives have really unfolded with my love relationships to reveal the choices I used to make and give me options for new choices now. Now, I believe the most karmic past life planet in the chart is Chiron. All right. So if you get a reading from an astrologer, me or anyone, you might ask, where's my Chiron? And it's been my experience that Chiron represents an area where we absolutely lost in the past life, like bitterly lost, okay? Like so much that it's still ricocheting. It's literally, our Chiron issue is literally one of the issues I think we came back to heal. In fact, I believe that everyone does in fact heal their Chiron. You will absolutely heal it, especially by your Chiron return, the point when Chiron returns to its place in your chart. So I believe everyone heals, and I believe wherever your Chiron is, it really represents a lot of what you're trying to fix in this life, and where a lot of your past life is still resonating in the present. Another planet, Black Lilith. So in my study, Black Lilith often represents a place where literally the soul was enraged, was hurt, was damaged horribly. You quite often see Black Lilith around or operating with Chiron in the chart, so they often speak to the same issue, but I've also noticed that they can be totally different issues. Like my Black Lilith has to do with losing a wife, and my Chiron has to do with losing a kingdom. Okay, so, they might have gone together, but they're separate kind of pains. You might ask, where does Pluto play in your chart? Is that karmic? Actually, no. In my experience, Pluto represents the part that your soul has refused to participate in. Wherever Pluto is, it's step zero. Your consciousness is near zero when it comes to that. And what I do find that's fascinating is that you can look at the Pluto and you can see where it is in a person's chart, and you'll realize no wonder they got hurt with Chiron because of their Pluto. No wonder they got hurt with Black Lilith because of their Pluto. So Pluto actually is not karmic in that sense, I don't think, but Pluto does represent a place in your life that will absolutely change. So I bring up all this past life topic now because looking at the planets right now, I believe the story you were born to live is unfolding. Just like a generation dealt with World War II, and another generation dealt with the Civil War, and another generation dealt with the Roaring '20s and the Depression, like different generations have their issue. I think our issue is just unfolding. I think it began with the president-elect Donald Trump. I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm not saying he's the problem. I'm saying he is what makes me realize, oh, it has started. Like, that's the evidence of it. But the real evidence is Saturn in Sagittarius and crossing the galactic center. In fact, Saturn will hit the galactic center and then retrograde back later on this spring. And that literally tells me that We're activating our galactic center, the point of which we were born to be for here, the reason why we were born. And Saturn's going to pull back and have us kind of program into that cause. The other huge, powerful thing I see now is Neptune and Chiron, and we have Mars and Venus. They'll be crossing over Neptune and Chiron, and that tells me that we are activating and opening up to our spiritual karma. And then the last thing is what I brought up a little earlier, that we have Mercury retrograde this week, and by the end of the week, we will have to make a decision. When the Sun crosses Pluto on Saturday, we make some decision under the retrograde, and then as soon as the decision is done, boom, Mercury goes direct and it's business as usual. Now, this is helpful to you because if you have any knowledge of your past lives or your dream sequences that you've kind of put together, whatever, it might help you to understand your full multi-lifetime story right now as you're making certain decisions. You certainly don't want to make the same mistake twice, right? And of course, I don't think we can get out of that, even if we tried. But in your choice making this week, ask yourself, is this part of your pattern? Ask yourself, are you falling into a pattern you fell into between the ages of 0 and 30? Because if you did, that was past life. Ask yourself, is this a pattern you experienced with a past life wife or one of your soulmates? Okay. And if these are the cases, then choose wisely, my friend. Choose wisely. All right. Well, for those of you who are just finding me, I just want to tell you, you can find me on Twitter at the handle CWateki, so you can follow me on Twitter if you like. If you are watching on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe. We are Soul Garden TV. And if you'd like to come down to the mothership, I have audio blogs Tuesday through Friday that are live that kind of talk you deeper. I'm also releasing what I call the Megascope monthly audios. Those will be out this week, and those will be for sale. Megascope monthly audios are free to my Serious Choice subscribers, and I will offer them for the first time for download for non-subscribers this week. And they give you a glimpse of the entire month for each of the sun signs or your rising signs. All right, friend, I hope you have a good week this week, kicking off your karma. Choose wisely, stay in your heart. Remember, I love you, and live, love, be.